Hi everyone, Coach Sullivan here, MGS Coaching Football. I hope you subscribe to my channel. And my background is my 38th year coaching football. I've either been a defensive, offensive, or special teams coordinator, as well as a head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels. In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about what we call a pressure check. And what a pressure check is, it's personnel based, meaning in this particular presentation, we're going to talk to you about 21 personnel and one of our pressure checks, the plug pressure check that we call Plymouth. Okay. So as it says in the top left corner, Plymouth is a 21 or 20. That means personnel pressure check, and it's a plug family blitz. So, again, name association, right? P Plymouth, P plug. So the kids know Plymouth is the plug. All right. And it's not a new created plug. It's one of our base plugs that we think best suits the personnel tendencies of our opponent for that particular game that week, okay, that year. So that's how versatile this concept is. So this Plymouth was versus Cortland State, which is out in the middle of New York. And it was, so we just say Plymouth. Okay, let me start with that. Our codes are major car manufacturers, so we use Plymouth for plug because it begins with P. Okay, so when I signal Plymouth, that's the front, which is it can be a different front, but we used our base front 50, which is our base 3-4. It's the stunt, it's the coverage, it's the who we're blitzing to and why, it's the adjustments, it's all built in. Okay. And so the kids know I don't have to signal all the various aspects of a call. I just signal Plymouth, and the kids know this is the call and why we're executing the call and what the built in adjustments are in case of. So let me bring that all to light now. So it's 50 Mabel. Okay. And this week against Cortland, it was to the offset fullback. And the offset fullback was offset all the time, okay, at this point. So the coverage week is the fullback. If you see my AFC playlist, there is a whole thing in there about backfield structures and so forth. When the fullback is away from the tight end, when there's a tight end, it's weak, okay? So when the fullback was weak, the coverage was medium. This is the built-in adjustments, all by just saying Plymouth. If the fullback were to the tight end, that's strong, then it would be trio. And so the built-in adjustments are all a part of one call, Plymouth. Okay? And you do this because of the massive tendency. So see down here in the middle, that week, going into that week, the 21 tendencies were 100% of the run game was to the fullback, and the fullback was always offset. So that's right. You can't go wrong. 91% of the plays that they ran in the 21 personnel grouping were runs. Again, I mean, that's a massive, right, tendency. And then the pass plays that they did ran, all of them involved the fullback shooting into the flat. Okay? So the reasons that we call Plymouth, meaning the plug, when they run we think they're going to run the ISO or the power to the fullback. So there were down and distant tendencies for that as well. So this isn't a willy-nilly, okay, I think, right? I just didn't bring all of those factors in because it's pretty solid statistical data breakdown. And again, Huddle can do this, and all the other various platforms can do that for you as well, as I'm going to guess you already know. Okay? So for us, Mabel, and if you go to my Plug Family playlist, you get all this, but I'll tell you now, nose sticks B to the call. Okay. And so the reason we want the nose sticking to the call, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 guys to the side of the call. If it had been over here, so now it would have been a lucky, it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 guys to the call. Okay. So we always have one more than the defenders, and there are gaps. Okay, and it's sky support on both sides, so you factor in the safety screwing down. Now that's a fifth guy. Okay, so that's why we wanted to execute this particular game plan based on all of these tendencies, which is why we wanted to run Mabel. So when it's weak, and therefore in 21, that'd be the dime in the coverage, the dime would take the fullback. I mean, the dime is a spill guy. He's a bend and chase guy if the play was away from him. So if this were strong, the dime would still be here. Okay. Excuse me. We're going to turn him loose and let him bend and chase. We're not necessarily, they didn't execute a boot play up to that point. So we were willing to gamble and roll the dice on that. So then to be consistent, if they ever did run, let's say, split zone, he's going to bend and chase to go get it. Okay, just so you understand. If this were strong, now in the snap of the ball, the safeties would spin, and the safety coming down, in this case, would have been the free on pass, would have taken the fullback. Okay, that's it. Again, the particulars of medium or trio, go to my zone blitz coverage playlist, please. But this is why we have our pressure checks based on personnel groupings and uber specific tendencies. There have been situations where opponents have not either run, let's say, 21 personnel at all or enough. So we don't have a pressure check going into that game. Okay. Or the tendencies haven't been so over glaring as this to create a pressure check plan. But when an opponent does have tendencies, and so for us, again, it doesn't necessarily mean the same to you, 75% or more, that's reason to have a pressure check plan. Okay? That's for us. That's reason. I have gone as low as 70%, never below 70, and that would mean they're going to 70% of the time they're going to run or pass for starters and then break it down from there. All right, but that's the reason for it. And again, in this particular game, Cortland State, look at those tendencies, and that's why Plymouth was Mabel with the built-in adjustments. Okay, so this varies from week to week, from opponent to opponent, from year to year. This was not the same pressure. In fact, by design, I checked my records, and not that we played Cortland again, but if we had and the tendencies were the exact same, this would not have been the pressure check, because they do film study too. And they practice this, and then all of a sudden we give them something different. So by design, I also always make sure and double check that our opponents don't get the same thing twice. Okay? All right, so as always, please reach out to me at coachmjsullivan@gmail.com. As I said earlier, I hope you subscribe to my channel, and I'd love to talk football with you.